7 after the surgery. I feel so much better. I slept on the side. I asked the doctor's employees. She said, yeah, because you didn't have a lift and you just had an explant, you can sleep on the side. I think that made a big difference a little bit tonight, that I slept better. Still in pain, but not significant. As I said, the medication is the things that are causing most of the problems, and the sleeping positions, not the surgery itself. Yesterday, that when the drains came out, that also is mentally a completely different story. So one thing with any kind of surgery or whatever you're having, I can recommend you to make your room not look like a hospital, especially when you have, this kind of medication. I'm just cleaning up. Just put it in a box or something that's not like a visual you are sick situation, because it really helps, just to have your room look a little bit more like you will have with a healthy person. I watched a video yesterday from a woman having the surgery, and after 7 days her doctor told her, stop looking like a patient, start looking like yourself. Just go and wear some nice sports bras, drink a wine, enjoy life, And I think that's cool. Doctors, that's what they always should recommend, because our mental state is the ones that are causing us the most issues. What I can tell you is breathing is so much easier, so much easier. And it's logical also, because you are putting something which your body is not used to, from the weight part on your chest where your lungs are. Also the capsule is attaching to the lung part behind to the wall, and it's squishing it. So that's one of the most common things that most experience. So if you think about it, breathing is, for a good reason, one of the most essential things we are doing. Also when you meditate, when you do yoga or these kind of things, or even any kind of sport, because breathing gives us energy. So when you have a very short breath and could not take deep breaths, of course it makes you tired, it makes you weaker. So this is 100% gonna be one of the biggest plus for everyone who's doing that. From the nutritional part, because somebody asked me in my last video, for everybody who's new here, I started this journey over now maybe 190 days ago. I have to check, because I was fighting my MS, and I started experimenting with nutrition, and the channel was only about carnivore, because that was like my last straw, trying to eat animal based. So if you look up a little bit carnivore, if you don't know anything about it, but that actually saved everything that comes with the MS, black and white. I have the evidence, I have my lab tests and everything. So that part healed my MS symptoms, but some symptoms that started 2 years ago and in 2019 when my MS started just didn't go away from that, and it got worse and worse. And that was the left side pain that I 2 months ago started then trying to find out what's wrong. And as I said, over 40 doctors were telling me, it's your MS, it's your back, you had a disc prolapse because you were, doing Muay Thai and kickboxing, it's from that. They were constantly giving me also black and white pictures that everything is completely fine. My ultrasounds, 4 different ultrasounds, my whole body MRI. I had just an MRI for the breast. I had a CT for the, is it the röntgen? Yeah, it's a CT thing for the breast part. Even with contrast, everybody was saying, no, it's nothing, it's nothing. And when they opened me up, they saw the rupture, and that's what I was fighting for. So if you have a feeling that something's wrong with you, just fight. As long as you see, that's not that. And I would never change the way I'm eating carnivore, because that's what healed one of my biggest issues. I'm fighting a lot of health issues, as everybody who knows me now for a long period of time, almost 200 days is a long period of time, and I'm posting almost every day, is that my health journey is not usual because a lot of things happen at the same time, and 2019 is just everything went down the hill. And that's what I have, a lot of different fights I'm fighting, and everything requires different adjustments for my body, for my mental state. And it's a lot to handle for a 35-year-old single mom who's working in IT and who's trying to figure out life, honestly. So it's overwhelming. And I'm not one of the, oh, I'm one of these super women, I'm that girl, who is mentally completely stable and do everything perfect and was raised in a sporty family, or was always very sporty, or had always their food in place. I'm actually the complete opposite. I grew up with, cookies are the best, sugar is the best, just eat so as much as you want. You don't have to do sport. What is sport? Just sit down and watch TV. That was like my childhood. For me, it's very tough. Whatever I'm doing it by myself now as a grown woman, learning it from scratch, because I I have to, because of my health. That's that. And also for my 11-year-old son to not let him go this path. And along the road, I'm learning so many things which are so important also to teach my kid. And things I see, as soon as he says, when we go to McDonald's, for example, I'm eating burger patties. And that's what's also very important for any kind of surgery, is nutrition and what helps and what works for you. So the only thing is what works for you. I can tell you that basically every grocery food we are now having, it doesn't matter if it's vegetable, fruits, meat, eggs, it's just so messed up. It's so messed up. I saw so many videos also about the organic parts, the pesticides. The problem is, as soon as you are sick and your stomach is also sick, your stomach is so much more sensitive to basically everything. So what happened to me and my son as well is that our guts are so extremely sensitive to basically all kind of foods. And also being on this carnivore path, eating meat and these kind of things, it reduces inflammation. But I had a lot of histamine issues, and my son as well. So also finding the right meat that I have to eat, and especially when I'm not even at home, and still have to experiment, then again, it's hardcore for the stomach. But I can tell you, especially now, it's unfortunately the only thing that my body can handle. Why do I say unfortunately? Because in the end, it's still, you have to restrict yourself a lot, and you have to learn to eat new from the scratch. Not to eat your favorite things that used to give you, kind of happiness and just childhood memories. Or, if you, it's really tough because now I'm, since 2 months, I'm on the road with my whole family in the Balkans. And the problem is, we are foodies and we love fresh, homemade, cooked food. And most of my family members, we consume, they're getting, sorry, it's a little bit painful sometimes. We are They're getting their food from the local friends. It's not even farmers, it's friends. They have some chickens, or they have cheese, or they have fruits and vegetables and so on. As soon as we have that, and my auntie's cooking or some, I'm telling them what I'm eating, it's hard for especially older generations to understand that. If I'm saying I'm only eating, I don't eat carbs, I don't eat bread, I don't eat that, 5 seconds later you have a bread on your table, because bread is one of the most basic things we are eating in my country. Coffee is every 4 hours, or every 2 hours. Do you want a coffee? Do you want a coffee? These kind of things. It's just our culture. And I from my view, food is not our enemy, but it is in a grocery store. So that's one part. And it's also every food that you buy organic. Very difficult because most of them are just not organic anymore. And I saw now so many debugging videos about this whole thing. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, if it's true or not. I can feel it, my son can feel it, because we are throwing up. We are physically throwing up as soon as we eat all the fruits on or I didn't eat vegetables now for 200 days almost, because I just, even the thought of fruit, vegetables is just giving me the ick. And I was a vegan because I loved vegetables, but your body is giving you the right signals in the end. So I think it helped before I started carnivore that I was eating broccoli, and then I had a stomach flu, and then I was throwing up on broccoli. So just the thought of anything that's green is just, yeah, maybe that helped. Um, what what I can tell you is just, if you having the supplies where you know it's what's coming from, and I'm not talking about farmers, I'm really talking about the friends which are in the complete middle of nowhere, and there is basically nothing here, and they supply you with their, you see the chickens, I see the chickens from the outside like that, then this is a completely different story, and I can trust that because I see them. And also the cheese, and I see the goats, and I see how they live, and I see how they're walking around and how they're not tortured and put into stress, and that also goes in your food. So this is a completely different outcome. And my auntie bought, for example, fruits in the grocery store because we had kids here, they love watermelon and so on. But I had a small piece of watermelon because my son brought it to me. And that's when we started throwing up, both of us. Both of us. It can be still a virus, it still can be from my medication, but he started at the same time. So it can also be from the sun. He was long side out, so it doesn't matter. But in the end, I threw up 2 days ago from my everything, the meat I was eating the whole day, the eggs, the yogurt, and then some watermelon. That was my baseline of food. So I started the next day having just an aversion of every kind of food. I just didn't even can imagine what to eat. But when you're having a surgery, you need something to nourish your body. So one thing that I'm craving, it's strange since I have the medication, it's egg yolks. I'm not really the egg yolks type because most of the time I don't like it. I have my phases where I really love them and are really good for you. They're very nutritious because it's growing life in them. So you will have everything you need, and it's easy to eat. It's easy for the stomach. The egg whites are the problem for most of the people. So just leave them out when you're having a surgery. Eat a little bit of egg yolk, see how you feel. The most important part, especially with the surgery, is just to eat small things and see how you react, no matter what you're experimenting. I can tell you that when you're not carnivore and you're going through this, vegetables, for most people, they're causing bloatings and a lot of problems. And especially women on breast implant illness, they're having a lot of gut issues, IBS, all these kind of things, suddenly strange allergies to different kind of foods. So a lot of us are struggling from the same thing. Maybe that will stop at some point, but I can tell you our stomachs is just more sensitive to all this crap that doesn't belong in the food as well, which is, all the chemicals. So especially in your recovery, one of the most important part is to eat really food where you know where it's coming from, and just put it into your fridge, prepare it as much as possible before you go to surgery, because if you don't have really 24/7 help, it's tough then to eat proper. And as I said, like yogurt and milk was the two things that I could handle the best. And egg yolks. I also had a lot of steak with butter. because my body's used to it. So if your body's not used to it, it's gonna be maybe too tough on your stomach. So don't change your nutrition just before you go to surgery. That's what I can recommend you. Just to find out what works for you and what not, just to be safe, because additional gut problems to a surgery is horrifying. That's like really messing up with us. So that's from that perspective, and I'm just now craving a big steak and egg yolks and butter, and oh, I'm looking forward to it really so much. I had adjustments, and I always on my whole journey have adjustments. So if you're still insecure about this whole nutritional part, look at Professor Bart, for example. If you're 70% eating, if your food comes from animal based, you're a carnivore, and the rest is adjusted as you need. And sometimes I don't need anything. Sometimes I'm just eating beef, salt, water. Sometimes I'm eating beef and butter. Sometimes I'm adding egg yolks. But sometimes I also have phases like now on a medication where my mental state is much more important for me. And my mental state sometimes also requires just having a piece of chocolate or an ice cream with my son, going out, having maybe 5 coffees a day, because that's just what I want to do and what I need. So one of the most important part is listen to yourself and don't listen to everybody, telling you what to do and how to do it proper, because you know it in the end, and it's your own journey, it's your own health journey, especially also after so many things. I think that very rarely people do understand what we're going through when we enter a state of health issues which are really killing us. And for me, the MS was putting me in a wheelchair. Then this whole other thing started, and I was diagnosed with so many different things until also this rupture showed up. So it's just a lot to handle for a person in such a short period of time. And we're talking 2019 when this whole messed up situation happened, and now 2 months that so many things are showing up what I'm having, and then also the surgery and everything. And it's just going on run and doing the best, and that's the most important part. Your mental state is so much more important than anything else. Just blend out anything else and do what makes you happy, what helps you, and what doesn't hurt your body. So if I have a small piece of chocolate here and then that helps me, or an ice cream with my son, going out having fun, it doesn't hurt me. What hurts me is when I cannot moderate myself, and that's one of the biggest problems with basically a lot of carnivores, that they're not capable of moderation. Because a lot of people say, eat everything in moderation, but that's a problem. Most people can't do that. They are just overeating, also because of emotional problems, states, medications. There are a lot of reasons for that, and I can tell you now, being on hardcore medication because of the surgery, they're causing a lot of just issues with your own what you want to eat, when you want to eat, how much you want to eat. It's just completely out of normality. That would be also for my body, just because these medications are messing with me. So a lot of people go through this, and especially when you're depressed or isolated or just in this state recovering all these kind of things, it's really hard to stay moderated or to look at your nutrition or health. You just want to eat cookies all day long and sit maybe at home. But I did it in one day. I had like a handful of sugary stuff, and that's when I was feeling so sick, so sick. Of course I am, of course I am. I know that in my body. But at the time, I just needed to kill my emotions. And I was so depressed because of the medication. And that's a problem. That was my always go to when I was a little child. But the moment when you're having this surgery and you have still stitches and everything, and then you started getting sick as well with your stomach, like really want to puke, then that's when you think, oh, I messed up so bad. So whatever you can handle and how you can handle, it's your personal journey, and you have to figure it out for yourself. just the most important part in recovery is protein. So whatever you are doing or how you do it, it's your own path. Just focus on protein because it helps with the recovery. That's very important. That's one of the most important parts. So the breathing is getting better. Also my skin, it's now it doesn't look like that, but it's really good. But it also, that's what a lot of women experience, that they look suddenly when they look in the mirror, or everybody's telling them they look so much younger. It is like that, because you, or basically I think every woman, I hope so, are not wearing any kind of makeup for a couple of days. So your skin recovers from that. If you used to wear makeup, your skin recovers from not having anything on your skin. Also not outside, all the air and these things. Because if you ever been without makeup and going out, coming back and just taking it off with some sponge or something, you see the sponge is almost black and you don't have anything on your face. It's just from the outside environment as well. Or whatever is also flying in your home, because I did it every day. I just cleaned my face and every time it was like black, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just laying here, I'm not having anything on my face. So that's one thing. And that the skin is getting better. But your skin will also get better if you eat carnivore, collagen, a lot of meat. So I can promise you that my skin completely cleared up and it got so much better, like I always wished when I was little and I had acne and everything. So that's that. With the weight part, that's what a lot of women also experience, that because of the BII, the breast implant illness, they started gaining weight. So if you ever cross somebody that want to have breast implants, just tell them that most people are gaining a lot of weight, and it doesn't matter what they eat and how much sport they're doing, they're not taking this weight off, because the breast implants are kind of suppressing it, because your body is fighting a foreign subject in a foreign thing in your body, and it's using all the power to do so and not to help you lose weight or stay fit or whatever. So I think this is one of the best arguments for women, to tell them not to have breast implants. If you need that, take this argument please and give it to them. So that's what a lot of people experience. They're just getting bigger, and you look bigger. You look like really huge if if you also wear some stuff. So that's one thing I can tell you. So after a year and a little bit more, then most of the women experience a big change in their also in this diet, in this losing weight parts, after removing explants. So that's gonna be also a big issue, because I was used to doing a lot of sport. So I did 3 hours a day sport. I was, I'm doing Muay Thai and all these kind of things. I was eating extremely low carb at the time, and also like low calories. And I had people who started with me, women who looked like me, and we started the same boot camp for 2 months. And the problem was they were losing a lot. I didn't lose at all. And that's when I saw, something is just different with my body, because I'm eating the same thing, I'm doing the same thing, and everybody reacts different, but not that different. So this is also a big thing, that your body is just also reacting to so many things with allergic reactions. That's just inflammatory, and then it doesn't help your body. Your body is constantly fighting all this inflammation, all these allergies, all these issues, all these health problems, that it doesn't have time to help you do what you actually want to do. So this is really important to know for everybody. So we will see how this change during my whole experience. I'm feeling really just better. The pain itself is just right now uncomfort. It's not pain, the pain also only comes from the medication and from the stomach, from the gut, from the head, and everything that's causing from the medication and from the lying position. That's it. So don't be scared about the explant. That's really not an issue. If you can prepare yourself, there are so many women who had explants who are educated in this natural, you know, what to eat, how to do it, what to use, then rather than medications, who had amazing results with that. Just educate yourself in all various kind of things where maybe it will help you to not have that much medications. But you have to keep in mind, it's still a surgery. You got cut open. It's not something that's, you know, just easy. And you need, if you having a doctor that was putting it out, then I hope you trust this person because you research it very, very thoroughly. And I trust my doctor very. So, and I don't say that lightly because 40 doctors failed me. So when I say I trust this woman, because it's my gut, and I was right with everything in health, that when it comes to myself, when I say I trust somebody, then that's a big thing for me to say. And I want to just be sure that I don't have any kind of infection, that the swelling and everything will just heal fast, because I have to move back home. And driving 7 hours there, it's going to be a torture, you know, because of the bumps and everything. You know, it's still a surgery, and being scared that something then happens along the road and you don't have access to the right doctors, and maybe you end up in a bad hospital, because that's also 2 times what happened to me. In an emergency situation, I ended up in a very, very horrible situation in hospitals, which is a completely different story. And maybe I can't tell you once, but it was getting very bad. So every time I ended up in a hospital, it was almost kill me. So that's what I'm most scared of, and I need to get rid also of this scaredom, because as soon as you're scared of something, you are attracting it in the end. So keep that in mind. My stomach a little bit went down today, so this is helping me, because when I woke up at 5, I was full of energy. I was doing my physiotherapy movements. So what you can do, I'm just going to show you. So when you're lying down, just move your legs inside. That really helps with your back pain. Move it outside and just let it fall like that if you can. This really helps. Then, you know, stretch it like that. Do these kind of things. Just try to stretch it as much as possible, because, you know, the muscles are very sore because of the lying positions. Try to move your neck and just roll it as much as possible, because you will have here a lot of pain because of the lying positions, depending. So keep that in mind, because that can suck a lot. These are like the most important things. Everything which is upper body, just don't move because of the stitches. Just a little bit, but keep in mind that you're maybe, if you have the drainages still, it's fine, the fluid will go out, but if not, it will accumulate, and then you have to be punctured, which maybe not be satisfying. And as I said, putting out the drainages, it doesn't hurt at all. At all. Believe me, I was scared, but it doesn't hurt. The only thing, when people are stumbling over drainages, that hurts like hell, because you are having a stitch which is holding this drainage. And so you're ripping it a little bit out of your skin. This is why it hurts when you're stumbling over. That's what I was misled, that taking it out will hurt so bad, but it doesn't. It really, you don't feel it. For me, having these things removed, that was so painful, because in 6 days it was with a compression bra. It was really attached to my skin, and it was like she's ripping my skin off. So if you can have any kind of oil or something with you, and just then remove it maybe a little bit, you know, not to have it in the wound, very important, but just the outside. Or also shave this part before you go into surgery, just not to have your hair removed. because it's very sensitive skin, and that really, really burns like hell. And it's not pleasant. For me personally, it's my personal hell, which is funny. I got cut open and this is my personal hell. So that's a thing I can tell you. And what else I can tell you? I need a little bit of sun. I think that's one thing I really see now, also getting a little bit wider, because I came from holidays from sun, and I just want to feel a little bit healthy again. I'm going to talk on Friday to my doctor when can I go in the sun and so on. But I'm just so excited of going home. And I want to go today just into a shopping center. So why shopping center? I need to move a little bit. I don't feel safe here moving around in the nature. A lot of reasons I already explained in some videos. But in a shopping center, there's also an AC. So the heat is problematic when you try to recover. Also for my MS, very problematic. So a shopping center gonna be perfect just for a small walk. Maybe I can find something that I just like to wear, just to make you also mentally a little bit more happy, prepared, that you look good, that you feel good, you know, whatever it's you can wear. And for me, it's always danger to overdo it, of course, because as soon as I feel good, I'm like I'm like a little, how do you say this, rabbit from this battery advertising. But I need to be very patient, especially because of the fluid. So this is important. One thing I also learned, which I didn't know, by the way, is the compression socks. If you don't move, you should wear them because of the thrombosis part. I have to take them every day for the thrombosis, the injections. Really sucks, by the way. It makes you also sensitive in that part. It's like somebody hit you. I didn't realize that, and then I forgot that I was putting that in my stomach, and I was scared. Oh my god,